He's preparing for his. Huh? I can translate? You can translate. Oh, okay. You like? Sure. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. When it's in Jaya. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today the Srimad-bhagavatam, 9th Canto, chapter 11, several verses from 27 to I think 36, which is the end of the chapter. Lord Ramacandra rules the world. Chapter 11. Verse. We're starting with 27. Right? Okay, so chant the Sanskrit for 27. Prasada Gopura Sabha Chaitya Deva Grihadishu Vinyasta Himakalasai Hattakavishta Manditam Prasada Gopura Sabha Chaitya Deva Grihadishu Vinyasta Himakalasai Hattakavishta Manditam Prasada Gopurotsava Chaitya Deva Grihadishu Vinyasta Himakalasai Hattakavishta Manditam Rasava Chaitya Deva Grihadishu Vinyasta Himakalasai Hattakavishta Manditam Shada Gopura Sava Chaitya Deva Grihadishu Vinyasta Himakalasai Hattakavishta Manditam Prasada Gopura Sava Chaitya Deva Grihadishu Vinyasta Himakalasai Hattakavishta Manditam Prasada Gopura Sava Chaitya Deva Grihadishu Vinyasta Himakalasai Hattakavishta Manditam. Word for word. Prasada in palaces. Gopura, palace gates. Sabha, assembly houses. Chaitya, raised platforms. Devagriha, temple wherein deities are worshipped. Adishu, and so on. Vinyasa, placed. Hema Kalashai, with golden water pots. Patakibi, by flags. Cha, also. Manditam, bedecked. The palaces, the gates, the assembly houses, the platforms for meeting places, the temples, and all such places were decorated with golden water pots and bedecked with various types of flags.
Los palacios, las puertas de los palacios, las casas de asamblea, los cuartos, en los lugares de reunión, los templos y todos los demás lugares públicos estaban decorados con figuras de oro y banderas de todos los diversos tipos.
There's no purport of this verse, I think, or any other verse for the rest of the chapter. So let's read the translations. Wherever Lord Ramacandra visited, auspicious welcome gates were constructed with banana trees and betel nut trees, full of flowers and fruits. The gates were decorated with various flags made of colorful cloth and with tapestries, mirrors, and garlands.
Cuando el señor Ramacandra visitaba un lugar de la ciudad, se le ofreció una preciosa bienvenida con ciertos grandes árboles campanadas y de revistieron de flores y frutos. Estos grandes portales se decoraban con banderas de brillantes colores y con matices, espejos y guirnaldas.
When Lord Ramacandra visited, the people approached him with paraphernalia of worship, begged the Lord's blessing. "O Lord," they said, as you rescued the earth from the bottom of the sea in your incarnation as a boar, may you now maintain it. Thus, we beg your blessings.
Estas visitas del señor Ramacandra, la gente se acercaba a él con gritos de adoración y pedía las bendiciones del Señor. Oh Señor del cielo, que tú, que rescataste la tierra del fondo del mar, de tu encarnación como jabalí, vives de ahí ahora. Nosotros tenemos muy felices.
Thereafter, not having seen the Lord for a long time, the citizens, both men and women, being very eager to see him, left their homes and got up on the roofs of the palaces, being incompletely satisfied with seeing the face of the lotus-eyed Lord Ramacandra. They showered flowers upon him.
Puesto que llevaban mucho tiempo sin ver al Señor, los ciudadanos, mujeres y hombres y mujeres salían de sus hogares deseosos de verle y se subían a las azoteas del palacio. Como no se sentían completamente saciados de ver el rostro y los ojos de Dios del Señor Ramacandra, derramaban lluvias de flores sobre él.
Thereafter, Lord Ramacandra entered the palace of his forefathers. Translate one.
Después el señor Ramacandra entró en el palacio de sus antepasados.
Okay. Within the palace were various treasures and valuable wardrobes.
Donde se guardaban diversos tesoros y valiosos vestuarios.
The sitting places on the two sides of the entrance door were made of coral, and the yards were surrounded by pillars of Vaidurya money.
A ambos lados de la puerta principal había asientos hechos de coral. Los patios estaban rodeados de columnas de Vaidurya money.
The floor was made of highly polished Markata money, and the foundation was made of marble.
El suelo estaba hecho de Markata money, muy pulida, y los cimientos eran de mármol.
The entire palace was decorated with flags and garlands and bedecked with valuable stones, shining with a celestial effulgence.
Todo el palacio estaba decorado con banderas y venados de tierras preciosas que despedían una refulgencia celestial.
The palace was fully decorated with pearls and surrounded by lamps and incense.
El palacio estaba completamente decorado con perlas y rodeado de lámparas e incienso.
The men and women within the palace all resembled demigods and were decorated with various ornaments, which seemed beautiful because of being placed on their bodies.
Los hombres y mujeres que vivían en él parecían semidioses y se adornaban con alhajas cuya belleza se veía dentro del estado de
Lord Ramacandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chief of the best learned scholars, resided in that palace with his pleasure potency, Mother Sita, and enjoyed complete peace.
El Señor Ramacandra, la suprema personalidad de Dios, el mejor de los más sabios benditos, vivió en este palacio con su potencia de placer y madrecita y disfrutó de una paz completa.
Without transgressing the religious principles, Lord Ramacandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by devotees in meditation, enjoyed with all the paraphernalia of transcendental pleasure as long as needed.
Sin quebrantar los principios religiosos, el Señor Ramacandra, cuyos pies de oro son adorados por los devotos mediante la meditación, disfrutó con todos los objetos propios del placer trascendental durante todo el tiempo que fue necesario.
And the purport's not really a purport. This is the end of the chapter. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 9th Canto, 11th chapter of Srimad-bhagavatam, entitled Lord Ramacandra Rules the World.
Así terminan los significados del Bhaktivedanta correspondientes al capítulo 10 del Canto pequeño del Srimad-bhagavatam, titulado El Señor Ramacandra gobierna el mundo.
Om Jnana Timiranda Shagana Jana Shavakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmat Shri Gurave Namaha. So this finishes the chapter about Lord Ramacandra.
Termina el capítulo 10
We've read today these several verses describing the nature of the city and the palace and the surrounding area where Lord Ramacandra resided in Ayodhya.
Hemos estado leyendo las descripciones de los palacios, las ciudades del Señor Ramacandra
And we also read previously that the reason that everything was so nice at that time was, of course, two reasons. One, of course, Lord Ramacandra was his Supreme Personality Godhead, and he's ruling the world.
La razón por la cual hemos estado leyendo es porque el Señor Ramacandra es la suprema personalidad de Dios.
And the other thing is that the people in general were pious and were following the Varnashram system, the Taipi Varnashram system.
Y la segunda es porque la gente en general era piadosa y estaba siguiendo los principios del Varnashram.
So, of course, this was in the Treta Yuga.
Por supuesto, esto es en la Tetra Yuga.
So things are obviously were better than we see in modern times.
Las cosas eran mucho mejores que en tiempos.
But Srila Prabhupada has always said that if the world, he said at one time, if 1% of the world, people of the world became fully Krishna conscious, then the whole world could change for the better.
Por supuesto que quiero probar una vez que si el 1% de la población se vuelve consciente de Krishna, todo puede cambiar.
So of course it is Kali Yuga. Things are, in general, are pretty degraded.
Por supuesto, estamos en Kali Yuga y es una era de todo está relacionado.
But it's also we're also still within the period, at the beginning of the period, of Lord Chaitanya's golden era.
Pero también estamos en el sitio de la era de los Chaitanya, la era de oro.
So as it's been predicted by Lord Chaitanya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada also, this spreading of the Krishna consciousness movement will increase more and more. It will go everywhere.
Y como esto estaba predicto por el Señor Chaitanya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, el Prabhupada, que el movimiento por el concepto de Krishna también se va a diseminar más.
So in that way, although the demoniac will become more demoniac to some degree, but those who take up the path of Krishna consciousness will also increase more and more. Many people in the world who are of demoniac nature, they may stay like that. But because of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, those who are a little pious, got some good spiritual piety, they will be able to take up this path, and their lives, our lives, will be changed. And of course, this is all possible for us and for the world right now. This is all possible because Srila Prabhupada, especially, was able to firmly establish Lord Chaitanya's mission within this world. Before Srila Prabhupada came, before he began his preaching, almost no one around the world knew anything about Lord Chaitanya. Even today, there's so many people from Hindu background, and you talk about Lord Chaitanya, they think, who's that?
Incluso la gente de la India que a veces preguntan cuando escuchan el Señor Chaitanya, ¿qué es eso?
But of course, Srila Prabhupada, through his books, his letters, his lectures, his personal example, he firmly established who is Lord Chaitanya.
Srila Prabhupada, a través de sus libros, de lecturas, estableció quién realmente es el Señor Chaitanya.
So the Lord Chaitanya's mission, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, and also the previous acharyas, of course, this mission has been firmly planted within this material world.
Gracias a los sectores de la Prabhupada, también de los predecesores, la misión de estar haciendo diseminada.
So those who are have learned, who have come to become that knowledge about the purpose of human form of life and the purpose of Lord Chaitanya's mission, it is our obligation to somehow or other do our part in helping to carry on this mission.
Aquellos que sabemos tenemos la obligación.
It is our obligation to help carry on this mission.
Estamos obligados a llevar esta misión.
We cannot say, in fact, our ability to make spiritual advancement is based on how much we try to help carry on this movement. Our ability to make spiritual advancement is largely dependent on how much we individually help to carry on this movement. It's not that everyone will be a big leader with thousands and tens of thousands of followers. We all can do, but we can all do something according to our ability. As Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna is not so concerned with what we give, but with how much we keep back for ourselves. And Lord Krishna says that he carries what we lack, and preserves what we have, and carries what we lack. Krishna says he preserves what we have, and he carries what we have. In other words, in terms of our ability to do something in Krishna's service, we may, any one individual may not be able to do, big, something very big. Most of us cannot do anything really big. But Krishna sees, Srila Prabhupada said, is that the ability that each of us individually have, how much of that are we giving, and how much of it that we could give that we're keeping back for ourselves. We all have some ability to do something terms of, say, devotional service.
Todos tenemos la habilidad de hacer algo en términos de servicio emocional.
And Lord Krishna knows how much we can or cannot do.
Dios Krishna sabe qué podemos y qué no podemos.
But what he says, what Krishna sees, is of the ability that each of us individually have to do something. How much are we actually using that ability in his service?
Lo que el Señor realmente está viendo es con la habilidad que estamos utilizando para hacer ese servicio.
And of course, Krishna carries what we lack. He preserves what we have and carries what we lack.
En ese sentido, preservar lo que tenemos llevar lo que tenemos,
He preserves what we have
preservar lo que tenemos
and he carries what we lack.
y tomar lo que necesitamos.
For example,
Por ejemplo,
we saw in the life of Srila Prabhupada,
vemos en sus vidas el trabajo.
he, externally speaking,
Hablando externamente,
Srila Prabhupada came to America with nothing, practically.
vemos que si la Prabhupada vino a América prácticamente con nada.
He had his books, of course, his first volume, Srimad-bhagavatam.
Tenía, por supuesto, libros, tenía Canto, Srimad-bhagavatam,
But he had no money.
pero no tenía dinero.
He had no one to support him or do anything for him and once getting to this country.
No tenía ninguna ayuda y no tenía a nadie que se llevara en este país.
Srila Prabhupada was old. He had his 70th birthday on the on the trip over.
Era una persona mayor, tenía 75 años,
And he was not in good health. He actually had 2 heart attacks on the way over.
salud no estaba buena, tuvo dos ataques al corazón en su viaje.
And there are many other problems and challenges that Srila Prabhupada faced.
Había otros problemas que tuvo que enfrentar.
But in spite of that, Srila Prabhupada, to carry out the instruction of his spiritual master, he made the endeavor to cross the ocean and to do some preaching starting in the United States.
Pero para por aceptar la orden de su maestro espiritual, cruzó el océano y vino para conocerlo.
And the rest is history.
Lo demás es historia.
Because Srila Prabhupada, he simply sat down by that tree and what street? Thompson Square Park. Thompson Square Park.
Pero Prabhupada presentó el parque en
Thompson Square Park, and then he just took his cartels and just sat there and started chanting. And people came. Some were curious, some maybe had some other purpose. But Srila Prabhupada had that faith that he would, if he simply chanted Hare Krishna and gave knowledge to people when they wanted to hear something, then everything would happen, everything would spread. And in reality, that's exactly what happened.
En realidad, eso es lo que pasó.
Yes, he was chanting. Some people came and started showing interest.
Él empezó a cantar, la gente se acercó y empezaron a sentir interés.
And those who actually showed real interest in becoming, or at least knowing more about Krishna consciousness,
Y aquellos que se acercaban para tener realmente entender que Krishna,
he gave them a chance to gradually hear regular classes, his classes about Lord Krishna, Srimad-bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita.
les dio chance de escuchar con regularidad al Bhagavatam, al Bhagavad Gita,
He made sure that they ate plenty of prasadam,
y tener, asegurarse de que tengan suficiente pesado.
which Srila Prabhupada personally was, in the beginning, he personally was cooking everything.
Él personalmente en el principio estaba cocinando personalmente.
He would cook the prasadam, clean the kitchen, clean the pots, and and personally distribute the prasadam in the beginning.
En el principio él estaba cocinando, lavando las ollas y distribuyendo personalmente.
And in time, some of the early, I won't say devotees yet, they weren't quite there, but they started thinking, oh, maybe we could do something to help out.
Entonces comenzaron a saber, de repente podemos ayudar en algo.
And of course, those who started actually rendering some practical service for Srila Prabhupada,
Entonces ellos que estaban comenzando a hacer servicio práctico,
they started getting a taste, more of a taste for Krishna consciousness.
entonces comenzaron a sentir el sabor, el placer de la conciencia de Cristo.
And according to Srimad-bhagavatam, a series of verses in the first canto,
De acuerdo al Srimad-bhagavatam, en los primeros versos del Bhagavatam,
by serving the devotee, the pure devotee, and one starts to develop some desire to hear about Krishna.
por servir al devoto puro, uno comienza a sentir, a tomar placer, a saborear el servicio.
And of course, because they were starting to render some service for Srila Prabhupada, they started getting a desire to hear more about Krishna.
Y debido a que estaban haciendo ese servicio con Srila Prabhupada, comenzaban a sentir deseo de entender más información.
And in time, by hearing regular classes of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad-bhagavatam,
Por escuchar más del Bhagavad Gita y el Srimad-bhagavatam,
everyone could feel that the heart was becoming cleansed.
ellos comenzaron a sentir que había un cambio en el corazón.
And of course, this whole procedure, this whole
Todo ese proceso
whole procedure is ultimately leads one to becoming a serious and steady devotee of Lord Krishna.
convierte en algo serio, seguidor, consciente de Cristo.
So of course we saw how Srila Prabhupada did as far as spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. And of course, the same principle was his early followers, and now and later followers also.
Con el mismo principio, los primeros seguidores y también los modernos,
who had not that much knowledge about Krishna,
no teniendo tanto conocimiento acerca de Krishna,
but they had developed some faith in Srila Prabhupada.
demostraron fe en Srila Prabhupada.
Then those devotees also went out and gave Krishna consciousness to others.
Así dieron los devotos dieron conciencia de Krishna a otros.
In fact, Srila Prabhupada would in his, some of the very early devotees, he would just say, okay, you go to England, you go to Canada, you go to this place, you go to this place, you go to Germany, and do what you can do to give Krishna's consciousness.
Y al principio, Srila Prabhupada escribió, tú vas a Francia, tú vas a Inglaterra, tú vas a estos lugares entre otros, para expresar la conciencia de Krishna.
So Lord Krishna says he preserves what we have, and he carries what we lack.
Pues así es el principio de preservar lo que tienes y tomar lo que te falta.
That means that if we give everything that we can give, our ability, we give everything we can give for Krishna, then He will give us the ability to do. He'll give us the ability that we may not have otherwise had. And again, I'm sorry. Just like just again, Srila Prabhupada's personal example. He came with nothing, but he gave all his energy, all his full devotion went into trying to spread this movement, and Krishna made all the arrangements for it because he gave everything he could give, and Lord Krishna helped out in that way. Krishna reciprocated, yes. And so the same thing applies. That's Srila Prabhupada's example. But we all can do something according to our ability. We can all do something. And if we as a group, as a society, as kind of society, if we work together cooperatively, which is what Srila Prabhupada said, then by doing that, then this movement will be spread and is being spread more and more. That's what meaning that the Lord Krishna is. He sees, as Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna sees how much we are giving, but he also sees how much we are holding back. So if we give everything that we can give, and he carries what we lack. That's what the word verse means. He carries what we lack, so we can go forward. So no one can say, well, I'm not rich, I didn't have a good education, I didn't have this, so many material facilities. If we just try to work together, work cooperatively in carrying on the mission that Srila Prabhupada gave us he entrusted to us. If we do that, then we will then this movement will spread more and more, and we will also make more and more spiritual advancement.
Y si cooperativamente hacemos lo que vamos a escrito, entonces vamos a seguir
Anyway, there's a couple of points here.
algunos puntos
Any questions, comments?
comentarios.
Okay, so then we'll end. We'll have a festival later on for Srila Prabhupada.
Terminamos, tenemos un festival más tarde para
Abhishek for Srila Prabhupada will start at 4:30. And then after that, we'll have the Srila Prabhupada Pushpanjali, offering Srila Prabhupada's feast. Simultaneous arati. And we'll have some further discussion about Srila Prabhupada and the occasion about his disappearance day. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.